Hi, and welcome to Female Entrepreneurs Magazine, your go-to platform for ambitious women who are ready to take the business world by storm. I'm your host, Angel France, and each week we'll dive into the latest strategies, stories, and success secrets from the most inspiring female entrepreneurs around the world. Today on The Real Female Entrepreneurs, we're revving things up with a woman who blends heart centered leadership with powerhouse strategies. She's the founder of People Bright Consulting, creator of REVUP Your Leadership, and a champion for building workplaces where people love what they do and where they do it. With a background in everything from nursing to engineering to IT to HR, she's a serial entrepreneur with a soul. Her Rev Up method: respect, equality, valued, uniqueness, and potential is transforming teams across the globe. Please help me welcome the amazing, award winning, people loving, leadership lifting Hilda Gan. Welcome.
Thank you, Angel. Wow. What a beautiful introduction.
Oh, you're amazing. Okay. I am just so blown away with everything. However, I really want to know what inspired you to be the leader that you are today in the global world as an entrepreneur. Because I mean, HR to nursing to engineering to IT. I'm just go for it. Tell me what happened.
You know, you just do a little bit and a little bit at a time, and before you know it, you amass this eclectic, broad spectrum of work. And I remember reading an article, and somebody said to Chris Hadfield, "What's it like to be a retired astronaut?" And he said, "I'd like to think that everything that I've done before has brought me where I am today." And I think my most meaningful role has been when my husband and I built an engineering company. And we grew it from 2 to 125 people across Canada. And what we wanted to do was create a company where people love what they do and love where they work. Wouldn't that be novel? And it happened. And I have my own podcast show called Rev Up Your Business. And the people who were doing the podcast is, so where does this come from? You always say, create a company where people love what they do, love where they work. And I said, well, my husband and I did that. And then they said, no, Hilda, where did it come from before that?
Right.
And then it dawned on me, oh my God, it comes from Jean Lum. So Jean Lum was the first woman to receive the Order of Canada. She was the first Chinese to receive the Order of Canada, and she was the first woman to be the president of the Restaurant Association in Canada, a pioneer woman. But let's get down to the grassroots of how she impacted on me. When I was a little girl, 7 or 8 years old, my parents would go down to Chinatown, and sometimes we would go to the Kwang Chao restaurant for dim sum. And the hostess, Jean Lum, would be there. Now I'm 7 or 8 years old and I need to go to the bathroom. But when I go, she'd be standing at the front and she knew me by name. She talked to me like I was a paying customer. I'm 7 or 8 years old. And she was the nicest person and we had nice chats. And I thought, I want to grow up and I want to be like her. She knows people. She makes them feel important and she cares. And that's what I want to do. So creating a place where people love what they do and love where they work is about caring about people. That's the essence. And that epiphany when my podcaster said, where does it really come from? And in actual fact, she became part of a story that I shared in a book that I'm an international bestseller in.
Okay. That is one of the best stories because she was a hostess, got awards after it. But I mean, just think of that connection that she didn't matter your age. It
No.
didn't matter who she was then.
Yeah.
She made you feel like you were the most important, special person in the world. And if
Yeah.
every workplace could do that, what
Yes.
amazing work and
Yeah.
what amazing jobs people would do. I mean,
And I know her daughter from years later. We hook up, and she said, that was mom. She said, even when mom started to become famous and people knew her and everybody would want to talk to her, she never kind of searched the room to see who else was coming and say, hi, you know. She said, she made you like you were the only person in that room and you had her undivided attention. I go, wow, did I ever pick a role model? I mean, she continued to evolve, but she impressed that little 7 or 8-year-old. And now I can say all these accolades of this wonderful, wonderful woman that really helped me become the person I am.
and you've transformed those things that you learned at 7 and 8 into what you do today. Can you tell us about that, if you don't mind?
So the Rev Up concept comes from that. You know, treat people nice, right? Because I wanted to be like Jean Lum when I grew up. And so Rev Up, as you said, stands for treat people with respect. You know, and respect is how they want to be treated, not how you want to be treated, because we all have different ethnicity, backgrounds, education. And so what seems like a respectful thing to you may actually be against their cultural norms and an insult. So treat people the way they want to be treated, then look at them as equals. And when I thought, what does equal mean in our company? Equality was actually treating everybody as equal. Your job is equally important as my job. And then value people. This is the perk stuff. It's making people feel that they're special, right? And then looking at, to me, the key differentiator between our company and others is that up piece. What do you do to uplift people? So U stands for uniqueness. And look at the uniqueness in each one of us. Yourself as an individual, as a leader or entrepreneur, and then those people that you are connecting with, collaboration or your staff. And when you look at the uniqueness of ourselves and others, then harness that potential. Imagine what you can do for yourself, your organization, you as a leader. And so I get to live every day of my life now as somebody who's trying to rev up people to make them more confident in who they are. So that's my key mission. And I'm on a mission to talk to anybody and everybody who wants to learn how to be more motivating and uplifting. So from those 7 to 8-year-old person, it's been that way. Even as a manager in intensive care, I actually hired nurses who were what I'll call high touch and high tech. They love that, you know, that go adrenaline energy of being in an ICU. But some of them would just look at the monitor and say, yeah, you know, I know you're worried. Like people will say, I'm so worried about mom. Yeah. Her vital signs are really good today. And I'm going, miss the boat. This person's reaching out. They need some kind of compassion and comfort. So I hired nurses who are high touch and high tech. And I found that I got less complaints from people about families because I brought in nurses who cared. And so this has been the guiding essence of my life. Treat people the way you want to be treated. And when you show compassion, you're people-centric, whether it's in life, it's in business, you can make a difference.
Yeah, so I'm going to take it a little bit further. I'm 18 and I'm going to do sales, okay, to make extra money. And all I can see is a sign on people that say, make me feel important.
Mhm.
That is the only way, because I'm not the best salesperson. Everybody thinks I'm the fabulous salesperson, but I'm really not. I'm the one that says, okay, let's make you feel important. Let's see what those things are. And that's what you're talking about.
That was your magic recipe. Like, you know, you do that. You exude, make people feel important. Your magazine is making women feel important. The way you say it, your introduction of me was making me feel important, you know, highlighting my my accomplishments to this level, rather than, oh, well, I did this, I did that, I did this, right? You just made me like, whoa.
You are whoa. but that rev up though is, and how you pick those nurses are just so important. And my mom's was a nurse, and she had that same philosophy you did about, I need a high touch nurse and someone who can get the tech. So yeah, so you guys have a lot of similarities when it comes to that. And so let's take your rev up now and let's move it to a family dynamic, because I really believe maybe you did that and maybe you didn't understand it, that you were actually doing it because it's internal nature inside of you, it seems like. How did you rev up your family as a balance to keep it all together? I mean, I love it. Do you mind helping us understand some things with
Sure,
that
sure. Well,
dynamics?
I was when I selected my husband, when I was looking for a partner in life, I wanted a family man. I wanted a person who cared about family, because that was so important to me. Even the career I chose, did I want to become a doctor? No, because if I became a doctor, to me, I'm the kind of person that gives full in to whatever I do. And I could not give in a full in doctor and a full in family. But being a nurse, I could balance those two. So to me, it was always important to give your child the gift of self-confidence. If you can give that child the fact that they've got good armor, that they can be resilient to peer pressure, then along the way they hopefully will lead a good life and they'll be confident. So that was me, and I had a family perspective partner, and we raised that family together. We weren't the Friday night people who said goodbye, babysitter, take care. They came with us on Friday night to eat dinner. And I think we've always tried to be inclusive with our family. My cousin said to me, Hilda, you need to not focus so much on the business. You need to take them out for vacations together as a family. This is important. So we started with 1 trip a year, then 2 trips a year, then 3 trips a year. And my cousin said, I told you just to go, but not all the time. But you know what? During COVID, like, my kids are adults now, and they moved home because it was isolating for us. And we had it more severe than in the US. And they came home. And during those times, they weren't isolated, right? To come home, there was 5 of us. Now, we had trouble trying to negotiate 5 adults in one house. And I stopped at 5 meals of cooking a week for them. They had to figure out what to do with the other 2. But imagine that, 5 dinners, 5 days a week for 5 adults. But what we found was, during those times, we would remember the trips that we would be on, and we talk about the food that we ate or the thing. And I thought, these memories were precious, and they're reinforced now because we talk about, oh, do you remember the trip to Japan where we ate? And then we giggle about a memory or something like that. So I really felt that was our family time, even though we were busy with school and with work. During the regular times, those family vacations brought us together.
I love that. That is such like an amazing time that you guys can look back on and go, okay. And oh, yeah, mom, remember when you did this?
And they still come with us on vacations. Some are working now, so they can't come that often. But people will say, well, of course they'll come. If you pay, they'll come. So stop paying. I'm thinking, we'll
Not
figure out whatever.
necessarily. Not necessarily. They could like go, oh no, I'm not hanging out with them.
Oh, I know. My cousin had a time in Paris with her 2 teenage children at the time, and all 4 of them, spouses and children, they did their own thing during the daytime, and they would meet for dinner. I'm going, okay, fine. But we love to spend the time together as family. Sometimes one of them would go off and say, oh, I really want to go to this museum, and people said, no, that's not my kind of museum. So they would figure it out and they'd go themselves. But usually most of us were always together pretty much every day.
What a
And that's
tight-knit
not
family.
typical. That's not typical. I know.
No. That's a very tight-knit family to be able to do that.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
amazing what you guys have created.
Thank you.
And do your children live where now? Do they live close? Where do they live
They
now?
haven't gone yet. They haven't gone yet.
I totally get it. We raised my husband's 26-year-old, and he just sort of moved out about a year and a half ago. I get it.
Yes. I think part of it is that, like, for my youngest, who is a game developer, every teenage boy's dream is play games, make games, and he live streams games as well. But his company, they didn't renew their lease, and so they brought his equipment home one day, and he's been working remotely since. So he does want to go back downtown at some point. So we'll see.
I get it. So my husband's grandson, he has a degree in animation art, so we totally understand. All right. Let's go into the entrepreneurial world for women who are trying to grow their businesses and might be a little struggling. Do you mind giving them some tips?
Well, I hear it too often. Imposter syndrome. Oh, I'm doing so well, but they asked me to do this. And I said yes. But I feel like such a fake. They're going to find out. They're going to find out. So stop with the imposter syndrome. Because to me, you are not an imposter. You have the courage to try. And I use this analogy of a child. So if you're a parent, you'll get it. If you're an aunt, you'll get it. But when an infant first starts to walk, what do? They get up, they walk 3 steps, they fall, and they giggle, and they think, what happened there? Do they stop? No, they get up and they start walking, and they master, let's say, 4 steps a minute, right? But do they stop there? No, they go to 6 steps a minute, 10 steps a minute. And before you know it, they're running. But do they stop? They do not stop. They keep trying. So as an entrepreneur, don't think of yourself with imposter syndrome. Think of yourself that when you've mastered this level of doing something for clients and they ask you to do something else, do you stop? No. You try. So think of yourself as having the courage to try. Stop thinking of yourself as being an imposter. Please, please, please.
That is imposter syndrome. I just want to take it and kick it to the curb, number one. And and just let people know that, if you don't think where you should be, but you have the brain that has brought you there. God gave you that reason, that purpose for a reason, because you're the only one that can give it to the world in the way you only can. Nobody else can do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the other one quickly would be collaboration. But don't just collaborate with anybody and everybody. Find people who align with your values. Because if you believe, like I believe in REVUP, I look for people who have similar beliefs of being kind to people, caring, and wanting to do good in this world. These are my tribes. These are my people. And then find people who actually complement your services. Like you don't want to have you're a starter and then have somebody who's very slow at making decisions and questions everything and has to do everything in details. Because if that's not aligned to you, the two of you will drive each other crazy, right? So again, you need to look at belief systems aligning and how you do things complementing each other rather than stressing. I know one point somebody really wanted to collaborate with me. I really wanted to collaborate, but then I understood that our ways of doing things were different. And it would take, like, I don't rehearse too much because it's here and it's here. And if I have to say it over and over again the same way, like you can shoot me because I don't like being followed a script. And this person needed the script. They needed 2 hours to rehearse. And I go, oh my God, this partnership will, I just couldn't. And I finally had to say no. So this example is to help you figure out, find somebody that you guys kind of click and you're not holding each other back or driving each other crazy.
What a great tip, because that has happened to me before too. So you want to make sure that, yeah, definitely.
And
All
make
right.
it quick. Don't wait 6 months or a year to figure that one out.
No, that just prolongs you into doing what you need to do. So yeah, however you need to work, find people that mesh with you. So talking about meshing, and we've talked a little bit about my crazy 18-year-old self, knowing what you've learned so far in business and in your careers, what would you go back and tell your 18-year-old self?
I would tell that person to maybe not be so patient and loving and wait a year for things to do stuff, that find the joy in what you do. Find your passion, be confident about it, go for it, and find people that you want to work with that also bring you joy. That's what I would tell the 18-year-old. And you
Wow.
got this. Shine. Just shine.
Yep.
Can I tell you one example? How a confident
100%. But I'm going to resonate something with you. Do you realize every time we've talked, you've talked about finding their joy and meeting people resonate with you, building things upon that? I love those two things. I love it.
So we talk about self-confidence, and I think as teenagers, we don't. We question ourselves so much. So it was May, and I was feeling confident that day. I was on a high. I had the right dress. I was going downtown, and I get the bus, and I have to take it down to our subway. And then I get on the subway, and I am so proud of who I am. This is one of those great days. And I get to the subway, and the doors close. And I see in the glass a reflection of who I am. And there are rollers in my hair. I know. I'm thinking, oh my God, 20 minutes down the bus, walking along, strutting like I know who I am. And I have these rollers in my hair. And I'm going, putting them in my purse, trying to look confident again. But what that taught me was self-confidence doesn't come from here. It comes from here. And that was another powerful, powerful lesson, is that you have it inside you. Make it a confident you, not a thinking you're an imposter syndrome. So I wanted to share that anecdote with you.
That is the best confidence story I have ever heard. I hope you write a book on that.
Somebody said to me, I read your stuff in this book. This is the chapter book that I wrote about Jean Lum. And they said, I read your thing, but I need a how. How do you do it? How do you do it? And I said, I know, that's the book I need to write. So she only told me that last week. So I thought, okay, you got to get to this book, Hilda. You got to have that rev up your success or rev up your potential or whatever, and share how to be more confident in who you are.
Oh, and that story, and I'm sure you have multitudes of stories like that, or can grasp some from all of us. We all have some crazy stories that we've done before like that. But yeah, oh yeah, especially when you think you look and feel your best, and then all of a sudden you find out, oh my God, the lipstick really went out. Yeah. Love the curler story. Oh, that is precious. Okay. I see that as a signature line. Oh, you have to have a picture with at least a curler in. You do.
I actually was tempted to get AI to do a picture of me, like, a digital 18-year-old version of me in that. So I've done one for the child walking, and I said, hey, can you make it? This is a good picture, but can the child look like the little infant that was learning to walk? And they did. So I really love that. You can't create that stuff. It's very hard. Thanks to AI, you can. So I was this close to doing it last week. So I'm going to get that done because I wanted my PowerPoint slides.
Oh, I love it. You have to start telling that story everywhere, and I'm sure you do, but
Occasionally, I don't want it to get stale, but yes, occasionally I tell that story. So I had to tell it here for some reason.
because our people like good laughs, so that's why. All right. So, what is a key strategy that has helped you build your business that and there's always, I mean, you can give me just that, or if there's one that people told you, "Oh, don't do that. That's not going to work," but you did it anyway and it did.
Can you repeat that question again? Because I
Yeah.
was trying to think of.
No, it's okay. So just give me the first one. What is one key strategy that you've done that have helped you grow your business?
I think I'll do the other one.
The
So
one that people said, "Mm-mm,"
yeah, no,
you did it anyway.
So my husband and I were successful. We created our business, and we became best workplaces in Canada, top 10 twice, right? So it was a company, 7 offices across Canada, 125 people. So this is an accomplishment. This is the award-winning part of it. And this is where the REVUP came. So we sell the business, and my husband's the engineer. So he continues to do the engineering work. I was the operations, building our foundation of being that place where people love what they do, love where they work. And I thought to myself, like, what do I want to do? I left after 4 years because I became a middle manager instead of the entrepreneur of a company. And so I took some time off, and I talked to my husband, and I said, you know what? I think I'd like to be, I think I could be a strategic business coach, teaching people what to do. And he says, well, where's the ROI on that? Like, do you remember when we were small? We didn't have the money, number one. And number two, we thought we knew how to do it better than anybody else anyways. Which, I mean, together, yes, because we wanted to create this nirvana place. And then, I do something else. I think about what I do. And then I come back to him like 6 months later and say, I think I should do this. I should start my own business. And again, he kind of convinced me not to. And then I found this dream job, which was actually combining healthcare that I'd left with building a healthy work culture with a husband and wife team. So this was a nice combination. And I did that for a while. And then I got to a point where it wasn't working out, and I needed to think about what to do. And this time I was at a conference for women, and they said, why are you here? And I said, well, I'm either going to go to another company and help build healthy work culture, or I'm going to start my business. And then that night, after first day session, I woke up and I thought, I'm starting my own company. So I never asked my husband. I didn't phone him that night and say, hey, what do you think I should do? I'm going to start this company. I declared at that meeting, I said, okay, I thought about it overnight. I am starting my own business.
Curlers and hair and all.
Exactly. And that was 8 years ago. And I love what I do. And I love where I work because it's my company. And I found the joy and the passion. And I get to relive, iTrends was the name of the company. I get to relive that journey. Had its highs and a low, but I use the highs and the lows to help other companies. And a lot of people like to work with me because they say, Hilda gets it. She's been where we are, and she's not just an HR company doing things and training people. She has that pragmatic, business-minded leader's approach to helping things happen. So that's my competitive uniqueness when I compare myself to other HR people. And I chose HR because I really care about people. I want to make a difference in their lives.
That's amazing. And you get to help more than just one company.
Yes, yes, yes.
You get to help
That's
multitudes
why I
of
didn't
people.
start to work for another company. I decided, nope, I want to make a difference in as many people. And this year, I am doing a lot of self-confidence building training workshops because I want everybody to feel their most powerful self, their most powerful self.
And you're leaning right into your future plans. So if you don't mind telling me some of your future plans that you have. We already know
Well,
we have a book. We already know we have some confidence seminars coming up. What else do we have?
yes. Well, I do something called How to Fascinate, which helps people understand who they are. So I combine it, and I'm creating workshops to really build confidence in people, in their business, in their leadership. And so I'm on a mission to do that, and I'm doing it philanthropically as well. I've aligned with my community, and I'm doing it for a women's group. I'm doing 3 sessions. It's called Rev Up Your Potential, and I'll do it for also clients, but I'm doing it in supporting women. So it's called Rev Up Your Potential, and it starts with Rev Up Your Confidence, 2 weeks, 2-hour workshop, then Rev Up Your Courage, and then Rev Up Your Communications, because people avoid difficult conversations. I want people to understand how to communicate effectively, but also to have the courage to figure out how to communicate with difficult and awkward conversations. So yes, I'm going to work on that book. I want to do as many training sessions as I can, as well as speaking. I want to speak on the stage because I believe I have this ability to motivate and uplift people, and I want to reach as many people as possible to think about how they can make a difference and be their most confident, capable self.
You're a fabulous storyteller. So you will have everybody in their stage rolling. I can tell you that now.
Well, I would love to do that more. So if people hear this and they want to give me a call, they should.
Yeah, because you'd be fun. You'd be a blast. Oh my God.
Especially the curler one.
Oh my God, the Carlos. All right. If you had a superpower for just 24 hours, one day, what would it be?
I would be where I would be able to share my compassion, rev up people's courage, and do it globally, like on a YouTube. Everybody would dial in to hear this fabulous message, and then just lift their day up and maybe make a difference in their lives and the lives of the people that they connect with. I would want to do that. I would super broadcast it everywhere.
Almost like a fairy godmother giving confidence out to everybody,
Sprinkle all
sprinkle
the
it all.
fairy dust.
All right. What's one fun fact about you that not a lot of people know about?
So when I was 8 years old, I was taking ballet and I wanted to go on point. But wisely, you're not supposed to do that until you're 10 years old. So I could not go on point. So I got bored. And I thought, I'm not waiting 2 years to do this. So I decided that I would do Highland dancing. So I spent several years being a Highland dancer with a kilt and ringlets in my hair, because that was the style in those days. So your hair is bouncing as you're doing all your Highland dancing. So that's a fun fact. And I actually won medals, and I was competing against the 9 to 12-year category. There's a big difference between 9-year-olds dancing and 12-year-olds dancing, but I seem to manage to tie for third place. Sometimes win, but most times just tie for third place. I thought, wait till I'm 10, wait till I'm 10, wait till I'm 11. So there's a drive in me to do better and better, but I love to do different things. And so I enjoyed my Highland dancing, and I still kind of remember the steps for that.
That had to be fun. I can just see that. I never did it, and I'm Irish. I'm Scott
Oh
Irish.
yeah, I did the Irish jig too, and the sailor's hornpipe.
Yeah, so I'm Scott Irish. So I mean, that would just be fun.
It was. It was lots of fun.
All right. I love that fun fact. So a book. Do you have a favorite book?
So you asked that question, and I had to think about it. And I mean, I've read a lot of books, and unfortunately, I'm such a go person. The minute I sit down, I fall asleep like 3 minutes. So it takes forever to read books. But my favorite book is to take myself away from business. And so I actually love Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. I love that. I love highbrow play on words, right? And these two are playing at learning not to like each other, but learning to like each other. And suddenly, so I've read it at least 3 or 4, maybe 5 times, and I will go back to it and I'll probably read it at least another 3 or 4 times before life ends for me. But it's one of my fun ones, and I love that time when everybody was doing a take on Jane Austen, modernizing old versions. So I'll always watch a Jane Austen movie. That's my favorite book.
So I'm the 3 to 5 minute girl who could read a book, but I found a way to be able to read a book is I love the steam room. It's my self-care thing. I love going into steam room and I wilt pages of books. Yes, I run them, but at least I read them. Be happy, author. So I actually will read books that way in a steam room for about 20 minutes when I'm able to. Mhm.
Maybe I'll consider trying that.
Well, okay. So I always come out 5 to 6 pounds thinner. So that makes me happy. I get to read a book a little bit. And so yeah, why not? And oh, my face, I don't have as much allergy face. You know what I mean?
Mhm,
So
mhm.
yeah. So, if it gives me 3 yeses for improvement, I'm happy.
That's the efficiency, right?
Yeah.
Multitasking.
A multitasker. All right. Favorite song?
Favorite song is Be Brave.
Ooh,
Because I love the essence of it. Yes, because that's part of my, be courageous, right? So be brave.
that's a fabulous song. What
Yeah.
about a favorite quote?
A favorite quote. Okay, this is from Zig Ziglar. I learned it when I was attending a training session. It's your, oh God, it's your, it's not your aptitude, how smart you are, or your attitude. No, oh God. It's not your aptitude, but your attitude that affects your altitude. So
Ooh.
how far you get is really about how you care about people.
Mm. Definitely. That is a great quote, and I always mess it up, just so you know. You're
I
not
know.
I always mess it up. Whenever I go to say it, I was like, "Okay."
Yeah, I
All right.
probably messed it up too. But the point is, that's not how smart you are. If you want to go places, you really do have to have the right attitude.
Mhm. Definitely. Definitely. We'll get the right quote for the magazine for you. All
Thank
right.
you.
How do you stay motivated?
That's a good question. I think I get motivated through my energy. And the two things that give me energy is people.
Mhm.
People energize me, and that's a great motivator. And the sun energizes me. If I got a big thing that I need to do, clean the garage, and I say, okay, I'm going to do it on Sunday, and I wake up on Sunday, it's cloudy, and I think, oh my God, I'm not going to get through this project. But if I have the sun, that's going to give me the energy. So these are motivators: people and sun.
So, that's always a hard question for me, and I've never shared this before, but because you said people, I'm gonna share it. So, what gets me out of bed? Knowing that I have people to impact. That's it. Otherwise, I'd probably be like, "Eh, why do I need to get up?"
Well, that gets you up every day then, because there's many people you can impact.
Yeah. So, it's the people. It's the people. So, just like you, it's the people. All right. What is the best way for our audience to stay connected with you?
So my website is peoplebrightconsulting.com. You can connect with me on LinkedIn. I was able to actually just get Hilda Gan. So there's no numbers behind it. It's just Hilda Gan. Somebody taught me the secret, and I went in and I was an early adopter and I got it. So LinkedIn is really a good way. And then if you want to connect with me, Hilda Gan at peoplebrightconsulting.com.
And I think you have like something under resources for them to be able to get.
Yeah. So we talked about being brave, and we talked about the fact that communication and making people feel valued is important. So what I created was a workbook on mastering confidence with difficult conversations. So it's entitled Be Brave. And if you go into my website, I believe if you check out resources, you can find it there.
That's amazing. Thank you for that. They're going to love having that. Also, what else would you like to leave our audience with today? Any other tips?
I would like to think that this session resonated with you. And if you can think of those 5 words, rev up, and what they mean and embrace them, it will make a difference in your lives. And rev up isn't just for businesses. It isn't just for families. It isn't just for businesses, and it isn't for your career. It is for families. Think of what you can do. And this is my parting message. Think of what you can do for your children if you rev up their lives. If you look at the uniqueness of each of your child and you harness, foster, nurture their potential, how much happy they are going to be and joyful in their life if they're doing something that they love to do.
That's amazing. So I'm gonna just not stop there because I want to just say one other thing. I am sure you've used How to Fascinate with your children to be able to get those little niches to know how to motivate them a little bit more beyond internally knowing. Have you done that?
Each one of my family, including my husband, he's the maverick leader, has taken the How to Fascinate. And during COVID, I used the How to Fascinate languages. Each one is different. And listen to them, listen to their fears, their struggles during that darkest time when we were isolated, and manage and connect with them and make them feel a little bit safer during those difficult times. And then as they're progressing in their careers, talk about that, use it, to booster their resume and stuff. So each one of them is unique in their own ways, including my husband. And I use that to foster the relationship. And just the other day, well, yesterday was Mother's Day. And I was talking to my daughter and saying, I love where we are at now with our relationship, where you can come to me and share things, and that we have this relationship where we can talk together and talk about things that sometimes we don't align with, but we hear each other, and it's good. So yeah,
I love
powerful tool. How to Fascinate is a powerful tool.
I love how you can intertwine entrepreneurship, businesses, and family life and mold it all in together, Hilda.
Oh, thank you.
Yep. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you very much. It's been wonderful. And you are an amazing, amazing interviewer.
Thank you. Love having you as a guest. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of Female Entrepreneurs Magazine. I hope you found inspiration, actionable tips, and a sense of connection with our incredible community of driven women. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, leave a review, and share the episode with fellow entrepreneurs who are ready to elevate their game. Remember, your success is just the beginning, and we're here to support you in every step of the way. Until next time, keep shining, keep thriving, and remember, you have the power to create the business and life of your dreams. Stay inspired, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.